Gonna call her Sugar Ray. Why you ask? Because Gordy caught a come up when he got this woman. So far, what I'm reading, Gordy knew exactly what he was doing when he saw her. He was like, bitch gonna take me far. Hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and check out uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky is my Annie Jane ear tings. Oh, I'm so happy that I got another pair of earrings outside of them damn bamboo earrings. But anyway, these are super light. Super cute. Ooh, check that out. Ooh, giving me exclusive. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, ooh, we've been waiting on this. Let's talk about Bury Me and Motown by Raynoma Gordy Singleton. Part 1. Let's go. I can hear us at home as if it were yesterday. The front porch of my family's house on Blaine Street, a summer eve in 1947. I was 10. A scrappy little thing, dangling my legs off the side of the porch, tapping my fingers on the wooden boards. Brother Tommy is telling ghost stories. His hushed, blood-curdling voice paints the most gruesome images. And even in that sweltering heat, we've got goosebumps all over us. Mama and Daddy are side by side on the porch swing, watching over their 8. Not to mention the other kids from the neighborhood. As the suspense of Tommy's story builds, you can almost hear our hearts pounding. Then the warm night air becomes thick with the sound of laughter at the end of the tale. Shrieks of delight and surprise, hooting and hollering, voices from conversations down the street on other front stoops waft over. Hums and honks from cars that roll on by. If you ask me, what really got me started in music, inspired me, and filled me, I tell you, it was these sounds, the music of my family. Detroit, in those days, was what I call a big little town. It was all about family, a place of togetherness, familiarity, and safety. When you look back at those times, you realize how special they were, because nowadays you have to lock your door and be careful that the person that knock on your door ain't some kind of crazed maniac, okay? To remember our youths with pureness and safety is something so special that it's a shame that the children of nowadays will never be able to experience. And those of us over a certain age, we have been so fortunate enough to have that blessing of safety in our lives. Detroit was a city of romance, the Motor City, pride and hope and possibility. The automotive industry was booming, cranking out big, shiny dream machines. Employment opportunities were wide and varied for the Black men and women who migrated from the South. It was the promised land. It was somewhere to settle down to build a better future for their children, a place to shake loose the shackles and fears of the past. I was a romantic child, born of the promise of Detroit, with no cause to believe that my dreams would not come true. Now, she says she get her little scrappiness from her mother. Her mother, like her, is also small in stature, very petite. You know, little women like that, I just be like, how did God cook you up so little like that? In a way, you know, it does put, you know, little women at an advantage because, you know, so many, you know, options out there. Because, you know, if you like rappers, I mean, damn, you can't be no taller than 4'11", because most of them ain't no taller than 5 foot. Her being small in stature did not take away from her fight. She said her mother gave her her fight, her tenacity. Her father gave her the capability to dream and dream big. My mother, Lucille, was 4'11", no bigger than a minute, pale-skinned and pretty and delicate features. Green-eyed mama was as feisty and strong-willed as a prized fighter. She was born September 23rd, 1903, Libra, in Selma, Alabama, of mixed blood from a French grandmother. When Lucille was only an infant, her mother died, and 7 months later, her daddy passed away. She was suddenly inherited by an aunt who was just 15 years old herself and already a mother of 2. You know how we sometimes have so much judgment towards Aretha Franklin having her child at 12 years old? Listen, that is not so far-fetched back then, okay? Nowadays, you might look at the little girl like, what the hell is going on at home? But back then, the children were having their families very young. It's hard to think of now, because I'm thinking to myself at 15 years old, I am not equipped to be nobody's mammy. Nobody's. Hell, I'm 50 this year, and I ain't equipped to be nobody's mammy. How Raynoma describes her mother and her aunt's dynamic was that her mother was very, very quiet, obedient, and stayed out the way, as the street dudes say. I'm just trying to stay out the way, okay? Because she understood the dynamic between her aunt and herself. Because the aunt already has 2 children, she's not trying to put no more pressure on the aunt. Okay, so she's quiet, she's staying out the way, she ain't trying to make no noise. At 15 years old, her mother moved out and married a man that she will not say the man's name. Raynoma's mama will not give the name of the dude who she ran away with, okay? And the dude was 15 years old too. I'm like, damn, what is y'all gonna do? At the age of 15, Lucille, Raynoma's mama, ran off with a boy 15 years old himself, whose name she steadfastly refused to ever divulge. They had 2 sons, James and Bill. After less than 2 years, the marriage broke up and the boys became the wards of Mama's in-laws in Chicago. In 1923, she moved from Selma to Niagara Falls, where she met a handsome Filipino man named Matt Osman. By 1936, the Osmans had moved to Detroit with their 6 children, Inez, Rosalind, Kathy, Juanita, Tommy, and Mike. In that year, Mama and Matt split, and soon she met Ashby Mayberry. Daddy was tall and dashing, handsome with light brown skin and full of sensitive features. He had come up to Detroit with professional hopes and plans that didn't exactly include Mama and her ready-made family, but he fell in love. Ashby loved Lucille's children fiercely. Mama would say often, matter-of-factly, they became as much a part of him as I was. When I was born on March 8th, 1937, to Mr. and Mrs. Mayberry. In time, baby Alice came along. Alice was darker in skin coloring and tiny in stature, like me. Y'all, I just realized I don't have no mascara on. Oh my goodness, no wonder I look like a battered frog. For the first 10 years of my life, we lived in the ghetto at the corner of Mullet and Russell in an area called Black Bottom. Folks around were very poor, but I imagined my family to be displaced royalty. The father had gotten a good job, okay, driving a streetcar. It was a job that afforded him the ability to take care of his children comfortably. Every night for the following years, as Daddy navigated the electric streetcar along the route that miraculously stopped right on our corner, I led Alice down to the track to wait for him. We'd catch a glimpse of him, wave and shout. So sweet. Then in early 1947, we got some even more exciting news. Your father's going to work for Cadillac Motors. Say what? Cadillac Motors? We in the money. Cadillac Motors? The Jesus? Let me tell you something. Back then, you Detroitians, y'all can say so. Back then, before the car industry got so effed up and ain't nobody want American cars no more, because don't nobody drive that shit no more. I mean, I love American cars, but, nobody respects American cars the way they do foreign cars, The rappers get on, TV, make a video, and they be like, oh, I'm fucking a foreign and pushing a foreign. Let me tell you something. Detroit, that booming industry, man, oh my God. So you telling me that the pappy got a job at the Cadillac? Now dig this, right? Every day, her father was this kind of man. Ooh, I love it. A proud black man, okay? Every night, this man, or every day, this man got up, put his little suit, and got his briefcase and walked out the door. His position was a janitor, okay? But the people in Cadillac respected him like he was an executive. They would approach him, Mr. Mayberry, okay? They ain't play no games with that man, okay? And I respect that, because you don't dress for the job you have, you dress for the job that you want. At home, my father maintained the same quiet dignity, dressing elegantly even on his days off. Any boyfriend the girls brought home swallowed and gulped in his presence, sensing that this man was hard to please. They were right. After each stammering suitor had left our house, Daddy's comment was the typical, "Where did you find this raggedy bum from?" Our move out of the ghetto to Blaine Street distinguished us as the first black family in an all-white neighborhood. So now she's in a situation in regards to schooling, okay? When she was back in the hood, she had just completed 5th grade. Now she over here with these, white folks, middle-class white folks, that's what it sounds like to me, and they put her in the 3rd grade. She like, what? In the 3rd grade? Some of the things that happened back in the day is befuddling to me, because I'm saying to myself, you putting a little girl back in 3rd grade because she's so little? What the hell? That shouldn't matter, right? But once they got everything straight, the reason why they had put Raynoma back into the 3rd grade was because, 1, she was so little. I'm like, I don't know what that got to do with anything. But 2, the level of education for a person that graduated the 5th grade in a hood school was different from a person getting ready to enter the 6th grade in this prominent, middle-class Jewish. We're going to call her Sugar Ray. Why, you ask? Because Gordy caught a come up when he got this woman. So far what I'm reading, Gordy knew exactly what he was doing when he saw her. He was like, this bitch gonna take me far. Sugar Ray, because she was such a fast learner and, very talented, she was able to catch up to her proper grade eventually. But when she first went to that school, them kids was already doing algebra, okay? Sugar Ray said she ain't never even heard of algebra, okay? So they had to take her all the way back to move her forward. That's how life goes. I told y'all. Sometimes you have to fall all the way back to jump forward. By the time I was 6 years old, my parents had recognized that I had an innate musical ability. They bought me a piano, a beautiful little mahogany spinet with a mirror on it. It was my most prized possession and will remain so well into the Motown years. As soon as they gave it to me, I had started taking lessons, and within a year, I was playing for our church, St. James Baptist, for weddings, funerals, holiday functions, and so on. When we moved to Blaine Street, I dispensed with the lessons. It was my decision. Because let me tell you why. Ooh, I love this Raynoma. I love her. She's a Pisces. You know them Pisces are the creators of the universe. You know they got that ear for talent. To me, Pisces are the most spectacular dreamers, creators, doers. That's what they're here for. They give us art and beauty, okay? But at any rate, right? So she was taking these lessons from this lady, right? And Sugar Ray was playing them in her own way, or she was arranging this song that the piano teacher had taught her. But to Sugar Ray, she thought that it was arranged wrong. That's wrong. I'm gonna do it my way. Okay. The lady told her, "Stop it. Do what I told you to do." Sugar Ray was like, I quit. So at the dinner table, because there was a time where people would sit down and have dinner together. It was a must. Okay, there was no you eating here, you eating there, somebody eating at the table by themselves. No, you sat down at the dinner table and you discussed, let's say, current events, right? So one day while they're sitting at the table, the father says to young Sugar Ray, what is your dream today? Do you want to be a writer, an actress, a songstress, a dancer, a musician? What is it today? Okay, her sister, Kathy, an older one who's already in college, had interjected and said, just get that silliness of, show business out of your mind, because show business is full of riffraff. Now, Kathy is a different kind of young Black American. She's a forward-thinking young person, right? She is running with a group of other forward-thinking young Black people who think more of us than shucking and jiving on a stage. Kathy is like, could you get that foolishness out your head? Not my little sister. My little sister ain't gonna be running around here like no chicken with her head cut off, dancing for these ninjas. I did want to do it all, except for the part about settling down and having children. Not that I wasn't spending hours imagining all the wonderful boyfriends who'd one day be buzzing around. It was no secret that I had a stack of true romance magazines stashed in my bedroom. I had my artistic aspirations, but I also wove intricate fantasies of swashbuckling debonair suitors who would sweep me off my feet and carry me away. In the early years of the 1950s, as I came of age, a grand decade was underway. Folks in Detroit were looking good and feeling great. Sensational showbiz movies debuted in those days. From All About Eve and Sunset Boulevard to Singing in the Rain. My family and some of the other families on the block found ourselves gathered around our first television, enthralled by the Ed Sullivan Show, Kukla, Fran and Ollie, Superman, and of course, the Little Rascals. Do you know the Little Rascals is still very entertaining to me? But it was music that was my heartbeat, and the music of my generation especially. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe, because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. Just be good to each other. Peace.